The MCU has given us a lot of great shows this year to bide the time until Spider-Man No Way Home. And it's become quite clear that the fan base, of course, is divided like they always are on what the best movies of the year are, the best shows of the year are. And, through this list, I want to talk about my top shows of the year and my most surprising show of the year as well later on in the video. So, the worst show, worst production of the MCU, in my opinion, this year, the one that disappointed me more than I thought it was already going to be, is 100% Pure Eternals. I saw Eternals twice. I saw it once regular in IMAX at 42nd Street, and then I saw it again in 40X later on. Why did I see a movie I didn't like twice? Well, both times were relatively free or cheap. The first one was a press event with a lot of celebrities being there, and there was barely any reactions going on except for the post-credit scene. Then I saw it again at 40X because of the effects and whatnot there with the Celestials and everything like that. Get some good right out of the seat. And both times I barely stayed awake. Both times. I only saw like well, I don't talk about that part, but let's just say I didn't see a lot of the picture because I was knocking myself out. I didn't care for the pacing or the plot or the characters really. Maybe it was like too many characters for me to care about, and they weren't saying anything interesting. But overall, I just did not like this movie at all. I was not having a good time in any way. So I can't remember any good things about the movie other than Icarus's special effects and his abilities. The chemistry with the cast, I don't really feel anything. The movie does have hearts, but it didn't connect to me at all in any way. The other one I'm not a fan of. I didn't really. I'll put this as an NA. I watched everything else in full, but this one I watched Eternals in full. But then there's one I didn't watch in full because I didn't really care about it because of the trailer alone. And I saw episodes 4 and 5 in full, but I did not look at the rest of the thing. I did not care to. Episode 4 didn't do anything for me. Episode 5 didn't do anything for me. Not really, anyway. So the second worst MCU production this year is right next to it. Hawkeye. Just because you have a surprise character here and there, and you have the Yelena, which is the best part of Black Widow, doesn't mean it's a good show. I was scrambling and trying to care about the show. I just couldn't. It really drags really slow. It's really like depressing in some places. Well, Hawkeye's depressing. Doesn't mean you gotta make it boring, but it's too much. I thought it was gonna be like one time you're gonna move on to something else. But it's pretty slow and depressing in my book. And it's like watching the new Saved by the Bell. It's like it's supposed to be a comedy or it's supposed to be something else, but it's not doing its job very well. So, like, it has its moments in there, which is more than what Eternals has, but overall, I'm not really feeling that thing. The third worst one of the year, in my personal opinion, this has to go to Black Widow. The action was good. Yelena was introduced into the MCU. That's really good. She's very upbeat. She's very cool. I like her character. But it made Natasha look really boring by comparison with Yelena. I did not like the dinner scene at the table with the family at all. Overall, I felt that the movie, because of course she died and everything like that, it was more or less a waste of time with the movie, other than Yelena. But overall, it was fine for what it was. The action sequences, like I said again, are good, but everything else is like kind of mid, in my opinion. The fourth worst one, in my opinion, and I'll tell you why, is Loki. Loki is a very important show to the MCU. because of the whole introduction of the TVAs and the variants. It's a very important show to know when it comes to that one because the time on the multiverse stuff is very important. And like I said, the show is important, but the way they were doing the show was kind of like in my book. I enjoyed. I forget his name's character, but like Loki's, frenemy per se, Owen Wilson's character. I love this character. I even like the head of the TVA, the woman. I even liked her character. Oh yeah, well, okay. So Owen's character, yeah, this guy, I enjoyed him, but I enjoyed, of course, Lady Loki. She was great as well. She did not overshadow Tom Hiddleston's Loki. She did not do that, in my opinion. They were both good for what they were. Awesome. Unlike Yelena, who overshadowed Natasha's character completely, Scarlett Johansson, but Lady Loki did not. Loki held his own when it came to his personality and character. I think the episode, like, what got kind of dim for me around, I forget what number episode it is, so I'm not going to say it exactly. But it's the episode when the other variants came in there with the crocodile, the kid, and the liar Loki. You kind of knew what their characters were going to be when you look at them, but didn't really give you surprises. And it wasn't really doing a whole lot in the series when they were introduced. It was a big deal seeing other variants of Loki in the show, but they didn't do a whole lot. I think I remember when they were about to fight the big bad, the kid Loki just had to leave for some reason. I don't know if he was scared or whatever, but he's left for some reason. And the older Loki, the classic Loki, he took the sacrifice, obviously, because, he doesn't look very good, per se. So, like, he took the sacrifice there. I didn't really feel his sacrifice was very important, because we all knew he was going to die anyway. Well, obviously. And the big reveal of King the Conqueror, which he didn't really say the name, Kang, in the show, that was kind of weak, in my opinion. It was dark, it was grim. Could barely see, lighting-wise, I could barely see anything. And his talk and speech was way too long. Way, way too long. It was like 90% of the episode, the speech was. Jesus Christ. I love Miss Minutes. She's great in the show as well. She's an important character as well. So, like, overall, the show is important, but it didn't do a lot to grab me, like, for every episode. Most of the episodes were good. Episodes like 1 and 2 were really good. But, like, most of the other time, I was kind of like, eh. But overall, I do like Loki. Like, I do not like these movies, but I will say I like Loki, not love it. You know what I'm saying? Next up on the list there for fifth worst of the year is, unfortunately, Captain America Winter Soldier. The last episodes were fire. The first 3 were kind of eh. I did like the introduction of the characters. I forget the name of the evil group or whatever in the show there. I did like them. Their stunts were good as well. Surprised of who the leader of the thing was. That was pretty cool. I like that part. The action sequences with Falcon and flying and things like that there, that looked great. I was not a big fan of Zemo and his character in the show. That's my personal opinion. I know that people like it, but he just didn't do a whole lot for me personality-wise. He was a little bit too dry, in my opinion. I've seen Zemo in the animation, and he looks freaking strong and great. But in this one, it's more down to earth and calm. I'm not a big fan of that one. I enjoyed the training sequences with Falcon trying to become the new Captain America. His reasons for doing it made a lot of sense as well. And the racial things, I didn't mind at all because, it happens in reality. That's why they never really touched upon that in the MCU at all. And the other characters were fine in the show. I like the other Captain America. I forget the name off the top of my head there. But the other Captain America, who they went to the house and tried to see, and they quote unquote blackballed him. So like I liked his story as well. Isaiah, I think Isaiah, his name is Isaiah. So I liked his story as well. I liked the suit was really cool as well. He used the suit very well. It was very clean. I looked at a lot of reaction videos. They loved it as well. So yeah, it gets a lot of love from me. So like and the ending was great as well. It looked good. So overall, it's the fifth worst. But definitely one of the quote unquote top 5. Because you go 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 1. So it's top 5. So like bottom of the top 5. Not a bad place to be there. But overall, I definitely like Captain America: Winter Soldier more than Loki, even though Loki is more important overall to the structure of the MCU than this one. I personally had a better time watching this one. I like the training montage. The chemistry between these two are great as well, so I enjoyed that one. So, that being said there, the fourth, so top four, okay, going on over here is a toss-up. Let me pause real quick because I got to make sure about this one. After about 2 minutes of debriefing, I've come to the conclusion that the number 4 spot will go to Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, overall, is a fucking fantastic movie. I loved it to death. I saw it twice. The 4DX experience in that one was the strongest I've ever felt in my life since 2016. So it's a really strong 4DX movie. The mysticism, I love the effects. I love the characters in the movie as well. Him and Awkwafina's character, I love that one. The bus sequence as well. The underground fight area was really cool as well. The only thing I didn't like was the Mandarin, the Mandarin, whatever he was called himself, the king. Basically his father talk. This guy right here. In the movie, I didn't like his whole arc about talking about the past and everything like that. It was going on way too long. I know it was for a reason, but like I just didn't really jive with it. It was fine for what it was, but it wasn't really fine with me. I think that's his sister. I think Awkwafina's over here anyway. Like I said, some good story elements as well, and I just like the way it looked and vibe with me. So that's why it's the number 4 slot. The reason why this one is number 3. No, is that number 3 or I think there's number 3. So 2 more slots out there. So the reason this is number 3 is because it's a very important show for the MCU as well, introducing several characters like Monica Rambeau and the twins to the universe, which can be important in the future, and introduced us also to the Scarlet Witch character, who no longer Natasha anymore. It also introduced the Hexalt stuff there, the amazing song Agatha All Along, and had simple elements. And when it comes to multiverse and splitting and the hexagon stuff that we've become accustomed to in the MCU, so for that alone, for the importance of the show itself there, and splitting, and bring other Fox characters into the show, things like that. It's a very important show to watch for sure. If you want to get right into it, just watch episode 3 to the end, and then you'll be perfectly fine. First episodes, you don't really gotta watch them, but they do come back there, but you don't have to if you don't want to. But the other episodes are really important. Really fun characters. I love Kat Dennings' character as well. So, it's a really good, fun show to watch. They're also very important as well. Now, the number 2 spot, this can go either way. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be divided on this one. But for me, the number 1 show, number 1 production I enjoyed most this year is What If, and I'll tell you why in a second. And number 2 spot goes to Spider-Man No Way Home. The internet spoiled a lot for me. That's the number 1 reason right there. The other reason was there were definitely elements in the show I could have taken out, and it would have been like a better, stronger movie, like Scooby-Doo the Shit, What's Your Name, like Otto Octavius. I didn't know or care. I didn't really see why that needed to be in the picture. The stupidity, Peter Parker, not making a phone call and then making the world forget about him. That was kind of weird. I love the redemption arcs of the other characters. I love the introduction back into the universe of Toby and Andrew. That was really cool. Yeah, the action sequences were really good as well. Green Goblin is also awesome in the movie as well. However, I got to get into What If before my time's up here. What If did something uniquely different for it. Every episode was unique in its own self there. It all came together near the end. There's a lot of people on the internet who saw the Ultron episode as one of the best ones there. It all made sense there leading up to Ultron and everything he was doing, causing chaos throughout the entire multiverse there. The multiverse aspect of What If is insane because it just can go anywhere, anytime. So the uniqueness, you never knew what was going to happen in What If. That was the most intriguing part. You never knew what was going to happen, and was really a really good payoff in the end. Story elements were really good and strong in What If. So yeah, that's why What If is my favorite MCU production of 2021. Let me know in the comments how wrong I am. That's it for now. Clack off.